get a free trial, but then once I try to do it, it needed me to sign in, and but I don't have a username yet. So
Check your email. They should have sent you right there. Check your
Yeah, I
email.
feel
You should
like
be getting
okay,
username
okay, I
and
see
password right
now. I
there.
see.
Mhm,
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
mhm. So now once you get this, click on run scan. So let me go over it again. Once you get to this page, go to the indices and ETFs. Select first, we're going to run the scan on S&P 500. And once you run the scan on S&P 500, go to the predefined scans and look for breakaway gap up. But as you can see in this predefined scans, you can literally run a scan for anything, by the way. Number one, is it a new 52-week highs, which had a strong volume gainer? Does it have a 50-day and 200-day moving average crossover? And Reese, you got a bullish MACD crossover as well, if that's what you're using. And oversold with improving RSI, Bollinger Bands, if you use it. And if they just got back above a range price, above the price channel, and I don't know what the hell it is, but if you use it, good for you. You can use that as well. I don't know what Keltner's channel is. And improving CMF, I don't know what that means. CCI buy signal, I don't know what that means. Parabolic SAR, I don't know what that means. In an uptrend, in a downtrend, gap up, breakaway gap up, runaway gap up, and island bottom. We're only going to be focusing on breakaway gap up or runaway gap up, by the way, because that's our bread and butter setup. That's the setup which we typically trade on a day-to-day basis. Whatever trade we took on DPZ, that's a breakaway gap up. Whatever setup we took on NTAP, that's a breakaway gap up. Dell, breakaway gap up. And what else? Reddit is an IPO that's not typically a breakaway gap up. It doesn't fall under that category. But if you've been involved with my server for quite some time, most of the setup which you traded with your small accounts tab, what most of the trades which was given in the small accounts tab follows either breakaway gap or runaway gap. I don't know if you traded LLY. That we used to trade LLY before. That was a breakaway gap. APP, that was a runaway gap. Most 90% of the trade which you see over there falls under this criteria of breakaway gap up or runaway gap up after earnings. That's what we're going to learn how to do. And if you have a different system or different ways to look for charts, you can do that as well. You can select your way of looking into things right here, and you can just go right away. So first, we're going to run the scanner for breakaway gap up, and let's just run the scan. Click on run scan after. If there is any charts under S&P 500 which falls under this criteria, you're going to see it here. As you can see, there is no stock in S&P 500 which falls under the category of breakaway gap up. All right, so now what to do? Step two, there is no stock in S&P 500. So what do you do right now is you just remove this group is S&P 500. Now go to the indices and ETF again and select S&P, select S&P mid cap 400 and click on add. And once you click on add, you can just remove this S&P 500 here and erase it and put this group is S&P 400. So instead of, or you can just do it, easy way out. It used to be like this. It used to be S&P 500. This was the tab this was the code which we had before. Just remove the 5 and replace it with 4. Now it's going to run the scanner for them in the mid cap space to see if there is any breakaway gaps available over there. And I'm going to pause it right here. Let me know if you have struggle following. All we are doing is removing the S&P 500 because we didn't have any stock which falls under this breakaway gap of category. We're going to replace this with S&P mid cap 400. That's what we're doing. So the group is S&P 400 right now.
Yeah, I don't see anything for that one too, by the way.
All right.
I'm on
so
that page.
What is that?
No, go ahead, answer his questions.
Yeah, there is nothing. So what I was
Oh,
saying
I'm on
is
the page.
yeah.
I finally got in. I had to get my son firstborn. But
You got it.
we're
Great.
scheduled scans.
No scheduled scan, new scan. Click on new scans and it should take you to this page immediately.
New scan. New over where it says selected scan.
Yeah, click on your dashboard and you should see new scan right here from this page. Do you see this page on your screen right now? If you don't see it, up there,
No, I
you
see StockCharts, scan criteria. Oh, I see your dashboard. Okay, your dashboard.
Yeah, click on your dashboard and you should see new scan right there.
It's saying welcome to your new StockCharts account.
So there's nothing.
Do you accept? Okay, accept and continue. Welcome to the StockCharts account.
Yes, I am.
It's telling me to go on different other pages.
All right, so now we're going to run the same, but we're going to do this right now with NASDAQ 100. So all you have to do is remove the S&P 400 and replace it with NASDAQ 100, by the way, and run the scan again. Again, there is nothing with the breakaway gap up on NASDAQ either. All right, so great. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with S&P 600, which is the small caps. Let's see if something shows up here. Nothing here either. All right, so there's nothing which satisfies the breakaway gap up scenario, and I'm pretty sure there won't be anything in the Dow 30 group as well, because I've been trading Dow 30 today, and I really doubted if there was any breakaway gap ups on Dow 30. Nothing on Dow 30. Nothing satisfies our conditions right here. And now let's try something else. Let's now remove off the entire code. Just keep a clean slate right now and change that breakaway gap to runaway gap from predefined scans and start the same exact process again. S&P 500, add it, runaway gap up, add it, run the scan. Again, there is nothing. If there is nothing on breakaway gaps, there won't be nothing showing up on runaway gaps either. So we're going to wait until earnings season to see if something shows up. But now you can, I'm just going to give you guys a few understanding on how this actually works. So let's go to S&P 500. Let's add it. And hold on.
How did you get to that screen, Mario?
The screen, which you're seeing right now?
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Do you see your scans right in the main dashboard, your dashboard section, and you scroll down? Do you see this screen on your screen right now?
I see that little purple chart, and I see.
Yeah, scroll down. You should see your scans, run scan, edit scan, and new scan right there.
Yeah, mine don't say that.
Yeah, I don't
Mine
see
didn't say
that.
that either, but if you click on your name, you can just click
go
on your
under your name
scans.
on the top.
Under your name, I see your account.
Yeah, where it says your name, you should have a name on the right hand side. There's a drop down arrow.
Right. Okay.
Click on that.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yep.
Top right corner of your screen.
Good. Okay, got it. Okay.
Your scans right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your dashboard is just changed different, Mario, than ours.
Oh, okay. Now I see. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yeah. I'm in there.
And one thing I just
did,
right Mario, is I just ran it just for without choosing anyone, and it gives you 12 for breakaway gap ups, like 12 actual ticker symbols.
The problem with that is it's going to run through the ADRs as well, the OTT names as well. And that's one of the main reasons why we will be a bit picky with what indices we are looking into. So, okay, let's try it again. Let's try without anything. Nothing is showing up. What do you mean? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, mine showed up.
Yep, yeah, right here. We can't trade any of these, by the way.
Got it.
We can't buy anything in our brokerages using Robinhood or Webull or whatever it is. All these are ADR names. That's why we've been a bit more specific. You can see
the China names, ADR.
Yep, you can't trade any of these. You can't buy any of these, and that is a problem. And look at the average volume here on all these names. None of it fits our criteria. So this is why it's better to fine tune it towards that particular breakaway gaps or breakaway gap downs in S&P 500 or in NASDAQ. You will find a lot of these setups pop up once the earnings season starts to kick in. That is when you see the stock price either gap up or gap down after earnings, and a lot of these conditions are going to hit after the stock reports earnings, by the way. That's how I find APP, by the way. The APP was found because of the list, and what else? AYI, which we traded before, was found because of the list. LRCX was found because of the list. So right now, I will just show you guys. What is that?
You said because of what?
Because of the breakaway gap up, like whatever we did right now.
Oh, okay.
So it's formed because of the same thing. So I'm just going to show you guys how it typically works. So let's try bullish 50-200 MA cross, and let's take S&P 500. Let's put it right there and add the bullish 50-200 cross and then run the scan. And right here, boom, you got 3 ticker symbols pop up. We got Moderna, we got MRO, and we got Kimberly-Clark, KMB.
Okay,
So
you
now-
said bullish 50, 20, 200, and what's the other one? What's
Yeah,
the second one you
first
said?
thing, no, like erase the entire screen. So follow step by step. So first thing, go to the indices and ETFs. All these indices and ETFs, start there. Start with S&P 500 and click on add. You should see something called as first thing group is S&P 500. Once you have that on your screen, go to predefined scans again. And once you get to the predefined scans, you should see bullish 50, 200-day MA cross. Click on add and then run the scan. And you should see these three names pop up. So mRNA, MRO, and KMB.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Can you do the 1348 cross? Yeah, you can change the code right here. So right now it's 5200, right? So what is 1348? So just change the 50 to 13 and greater than 48. And yesterday is changed the 15 to 13.
Oh, look at Mario teaching us how to fish.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple coding. I mean, it'll be great if you have a basic understanding of coding, but this is all it is. So change the numbers to whatever you want to do, and it's going to show up and run the scan right now. And you got one hit. We got MKTX. So let's go to the, this is where you got to put in the work, by the way. You got to put in the work right now. Let me show you exactly how. You got the ticker symbol right there. Which is what? MKTX. That's the ticker symbol which it show. Now go to your trading view. Let's check out MKTX right there, which is what? Market taxes holding, whatever the hell this is. Go to the daily chart. Now analyze the price. Does this look like a chart which you will buy shares on at the moment, especially after seeing this huge red candle? Absolutely not. So that immediately goes off the window. You're like, okay, fine. This 30 EMA just crossed the 48 EMA right here for the shorter time frames, but the dominant trend is still looking like absolute trash. It has a declining 50-day moving average, declining 200-day moving average, even though the momentum for the last 13 to 48 days are looking better, which is just telling you, by the way, just the momentum for the last 13 days is looking considerably strong compared to the momentum of the last 48 days, by the way. If I enable the 20-day moving average, that's exactly what you're going to see. And you can exactly see why the scanner popped up on this name, by the way. If I change this 20 to what the length which we used, 13. And if I change this 50 to 48, you can clearly see why this name popped up on the scanner. The 13 on the daily just crossed the 48, and that's why it popped up. The momentum for the last 13 days is gaining steam, but the momentum for the last 48 days is still absolute shit. The momentum for the last 200 days is absolute shit. And you can clearly see from this chart, you're going to be like, okay, fine, this popped up on the scanner, but it doesn't fit my system, so I'm not going to touch this one. It's off the window. So now let's stick back to our initial thesis. Let's change this 13 to 50, and let's change this 48 to 200, and let's change this 50 again, and let's change this to 200. Yeah, I hope this makes sense on how to change. I know a lot of people, not everyone uses 50 to 200, but if regardless of what SMAs or EMA you use, you can change it accordingly right here, by the way, using the numbers by just changing the numbers right here. So let's go over these three names. And before we go over these three names, do we have any questions so far on how to change?
I was just going to say, once you trade certain stocks for so long, you'll notice which MAs they respect. And then you'll know whether to use the 13 and 48, the 20 and the 50 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing, depend on your setups, right? So the charts, the one thing which I want you guys to be open-minded to is charts doesn't change regardless. It's just a ticker symbol that changes. the fundamentals behind the chart stays the same. This is why I always say don't trade one stock, trade one setup. This is why when we run the scan, we run the scan for one particular setup, by the way, which is breakaway gap or runaway gap. So we trade these setups over and over and over. Doesn't matter what the ticker symbol is, but the way these charts work on an uptrend stays relatively the same. So right now we got 3 hits, by the way, for the 50 crossing 200s. KMB, mRNA, MRO. We'll go over it one after the other to see which fits our system. This is not our way of typical charts, but I'm just trying to show you guys what's the next step is. Let's start with Moderna, mRNA. So let's take a look at the chart, and this is not the chart which we need to look at. Let's take a look from here, mRNA. All right, so let's take a look. The daily, so let's add our typical indicators, 3MA. And let's go to the settings of this indicator and click on hide MA2. We don't need the 100-day moving average. Let's go to the indicator again and add moving average simple and change the length of this to 20. And let's go to the moving average simple again and change the length of this to 130, which will be the 5-day moving average on the shorter time frames, and change the color to the lavender, which is the typical one which we use. All right, so let's start with the daily chart. What is that, Reese?
When you do your chart, you have to go in and change the settings every time.
No. I deleted my settings because I was just like resetting the entire chart so I can rechart the same again. So just remove off all my indicators as well alongside with it.
Oh, okay.
So I was just looking through my SPY and QQQ. It was getting a bit cluttery, so I just removed off all the lines so I can rechart the same again. So it just removed off all the indicators and AV maps alongside with it. So right now, what do you see? You can see why this popped up on the scanners, by the way. You can see the 50-day moving average slightly starting to cross over the declining 200 here. Don't get me wrong. This is still, the momentum is still to the downside, by the way. This is still a nasty looking chart, nasty looking downtrend. They're coming in contact with the previous area of interest. If you go to the weekly charts, you can clearly see why this area has been bringing in sellers over and over and over again. This used to be the area which bought buyers before during September of 2022, during July of 2022, and right here at March 2021, or right here at Jan 2021, this area used to act as an support level before. Right now, it's acting as a resistance again. So let's, if you're looking at it, daily chart still needs some work to do because we have a system which prevents us from going long on any of these stocks with a declining 200-day moving average. There's an interesting study behind the same where like once the 50 starts crossing over the declining 200, you will see a small sort of pullback on the name because that's when the people start to chase. So the momentum is changing for the last 50 days. Let's just long it. There's an interesting study behind the same where that's when we get a small pullback when this is what we call as golden cross. So when the golden cross happens, you see a slight pullback. That's when you'll see a lot of buyers chasing the stock to the upside, and that's when we typically see a small retracement onto the name. And again, the mRNA is testing an area of interest here. So let's see how the shorter time frames look. By the way this chart is looking, I'm pretty sure this should be trading above the 5-day moving average. And yes, they are indeed trading above the 5-day moving average. So how are we going to plan this trade? That's the next step. Okay, so this is looking, okay, this is, it doesn't fit my system. If it fits your system, that's the next question you need to be asking. Okay, it's above the 20. Even though the 200 is declining, the 50 is above. Where am I going to place my potential entry on the same? Where am I going to set my stop losses on the same? And where am I going to take profits? And how much am I going to risk on this setup? So this is for mRNA. And our next setup which popped up was Kimberly-Clark, KMB. So this one, why did this pop up? This is still looking like absolute shit.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Reese.
So when you put them in, do you automatically go to the daily because that's where these crosses and that's where these confluences are happening?
This will be from the daily close. If you go to this code right here, you can clearly see it's taking today's close, should be greater than the 200. And yesterday's close should be greater than the 200. 50 is greater than 200. So it is taking the closing price, as you see in the code right here. If you go to the scanner and look into the code, today's SMA, 50 SMA should be greater than today's 200 SMA. And that should be also greater than yesterday's closing price of 50 and 200.
What
So,
code?
Go ahead.
You said a code. You said it's taking a code from where? Where were you pointing?
Go to the scanner, the main page of the scan. Oh, wait, am I
Okay,
sharing the
okay.
screen?
I thought you was
My
pointing
bad.
something on the chart.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Yeah, can you see the screen right now?
Yes. Yeah, I seen it on there. The
So
code.
now you see the close in there, in the brackets where it says
Yep,
close.
yep.
Yeah, what it's telling you, it's just going to calculate the closing prices for the particular day yesterday and today.
On the daily. Okay.
Okay, so
Thank
that's why
you.
we're looking at the daily charts. That's what the code tells you. The code is just calculating today's close with comparing today's close with the 50-day moving average, today's close with the 200-day moving average versus yesterday's close. So let's go back to Kimberly-Clark again. Again, this is not our type of setup in any way, shape, or form, but you get the point here on how these setups are getting pulled up by the scanners. So it still have a declining 200. It's still a positive 50, positive 20, but yeah, and anything under declining 200, it's not our type of setup to trade. We're going to completely avoid it. But this is how you work it. So let's go over something a bit different right now. Let's try gap down. So you can delete the entire code. Just leave the group as S&P 500 here, and then go to the predefined scans and go all the way down and select gap down and add it to the charts and run the scan. No stock gap down on S&P 500. Interesting. So there was no gap downs on S&P 500 today. So nothing popped up. So let's do this. We gapped up today, right? At the morning, if I'm not wrong. Let's try the same screening on NASDAQ. Oh, come on. NASDAQ 100. Predefined scan. Gap down. Add. Run scan. Nothing on the gap downs on NASDAQ as well. Interesting. Okay, so let's try new all-time highs, new 52-week highs on NASDAQ. Okay, so we got 3 stocks which made new 52-week highs today. Amazon, 2 big boys, and 1 relatively smaller company. Let's take a look at ADI. We don't care about Apple and Amazon. So it's really crowded names, and we don't want to be involved in these types of crowded names in any way, shape, or form, which specifically moves in tandem with the broader markets. Let's take a look at ADI. ADI just made a new 52-week highs today. That's where I get my charts, Mario. Okay, that makes sense. So now, when you see these types of names, Aaron, I want you to add an additional question to these charts. Ask yourself, where did they come from? Cotton Eye Joe it. Simple. So when you see a stock which just made a new 52-week highs, it's just not enough. You gotta ask yourself, okay, where did the rally start to get to that 52-week highs? So it's gonna be helpful for you to make the further analysis on should you buy it or not at this level. Go to the weekly charts. This, even though the daily is looking a bit extended, weekly is looking absolutely beautiful. So what's going on in here? We can add ADI to the watch list right now, by the way. If you anchor the VWAP to this lows right here, I'm pretty sure that's where they're finding buyers over and over again. Yep, right here. So they just broke out of how many months long range? Almost like 1.5 years worth of range was just taken out with today's candle. And now let's add the volume. Let's bring in the volume to the mix right now. Charts are looking good. Add volume to the mix and go to the settings of the volume and add volume MA. Click on OK. Now, what's the average volume on this stock? Average volume is 3.17 million. Absolutely fits our system in every way possible. So they just made a new 52-week highs. So into tomorrow, anchor this candle where they gapped up today and made a new all-time highs. This is a new all-time highs, by the way, not 52-week highs. So tomorrow, if they retrace back towards this 202 to 200 level, find buyers and start pushing back up again. This is going to be a potential new swing trading position for us to keep an eye out for down the road. So now we can add this stock to the watch list. The ticker symbol is ADI, analog devices. So if this turns out to be a false breakout, especially after CPI and the markets didn't like it, and then it completely collapsed and opened under 199, we can remove it off the watch list, by the way. But for now, this is still a great looking chart. The 50 is starting to slope higher. The 20 is sloping higher. I'm pretty sure the 5-day moving average is also sloping up based off of the last 3 days worth of price action. Yes, indeed, they are. This is a good looking chart. You can add it to the watch list. And the daily, albeit looks like it rallied like almost, what's the ATR on this? That's the next question we need to ask ourselves. Let's add the ATR to the mix.
$4.60.
How much? $4.60. All right. So from that 191 to 404, that's almost like a 2.5 ATR move. So even though the daily seems a bit extended, if tomorrow pulls back towards that 202 to 199 and start finding buyers and recaptures the VWAP, that is where we'll be interested in getting this, scooping this up, by the way. So hope this makes sense on how we go about finding these charts, by the way. This is how I do it on a daily basis. And you don't have to pay someone like $200 a month or $300 a month to do this shit. And they do the exact same thing. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription for these types of idiotic scanners to some idiots who just coded on his basement. Not worth it. When you have these types of charts, you can do it on your own. You can do it on your own. And a lot of these scanners gives you real-time updates and updates the same on real-time basis. By the way, you don't have to wait until close either. So something to keep in mind. So right now we just caught a stop. Go ahead.
Hey, Mario.
What's up?
So would it be best to like run the scans like early in the morning just to see like once the pre-market is going on, just to see like what's popping and what's not?
You can do that as well. Especially you'll find a lot of breakaway gap ups and runaway gap ups for the stocks which are reporting earnings in the pre-market. So you can do that too. Or you can run the scanner at 9:30 once the market opens. And once the market opens, by 10 o'clock, you'll find that first test towards the VWAP. Once the opening drive is done, they're going to retrace back a bit towards the VWAP and you can catch that VWAP bounce. So after 9:30 works good as well. And if you are comfortable, you can do the same after close too. Are you recording this? Yes, we are.
So it's basically live scans that's correct, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. These are live scans which will update on real time, by the way. And we are swing traders predominantly. So we don't day trade stuff. We look for charts which are looking good and look for potential entries on the same so that we can take the same trades down the road. And we can hold it for like a week or two and then make 3 hours to the upside and get the hell out of the trades or setups. Now we just found one, ADI, and Amazon, Google are great. Everything is fine. But again, we are not interested in Amazon. We're not interested in Google because of its heavy reliance to the NASDAQ. If the NASDAQ pulls back, those two are toasted. We want to be involved in setups which does not have heavy reliance on these types of indices, by the way. And if you see the volume right here on March 15th, that was almost like 2 times the average volume, 2.5 times the average volume. Anchor that candle. So we will keep an eye out for this name into tomorrow. We already added it to the watch list. I would highly encourage you guys to add it to your watch list as well. The ticker symbol is ADI. Apple, Donkey, Indigo, I guess.
What made you what March 15th? Why did that stand out?
Do you have the volume indicator in your charts?
Oh, hold on, let me put it on.
So add the volume to your charts. Wait, am I sharing my charts or like screen? Yeah, I'm sharing my charts. Yeah, do you see the volume right here on March 15th compared to the rest of the day? The average volume here is 3 million, but on March 15th, you have a sudden spike. I don't see there's any news events or whatever it is. You have a sudden spike of like 10.2 million in volume when the average volume was just 3 million. What's going on there? Raises eyebrows. There was no earnings. I don't see there is any catalyst. The stock price did move 1 ATR to the upside though, but other than that, 2 times the average volume. Interesting. Anchor it. Simple as that. when you see the stock price having like more than 2 times the average volume, it gets really eyebrow raising sort of scenario. So from there, we're going to take our risk. So into tomorrow, let's keep an eye out for this name. And if they continue to keep pushing higher, we're going to be involved with this. So this is a good looking chart. So let's see how this sets up tomorrow. Now let's head back towards the scanners. One is not enough. If this doesn't work out, we're going to be sitting ducks for the entire day. Absolutely not. So let's go back to the scanners again. And let's run a test towards new 52-week highs. Is there? What's the Reese?
No, I was thinking out loud. I said maybe that was the third Friday.
Do we have options expiration this week? I don't think this week. It's going to be April 19th is the options expiration. So you can change it, by the way. Last market closed to last intraday update. So when you go to this page, which you see on my screen up here, you can change it. If you need an intraday update on the names, you can change it right here, and it's going to give you an intraday update, real-time updates on the names instead of focusing on the market's closes. So who asked about, I think it's Chris who asked about the intraday. Chris, this is how you change it. Last intraday update. So it was at 5:30. So when the market is open, it's going to update real time as well. So you can change it right here and plug in your own instructions right here, and you can just do it right away. And Reese, let's test one of your type of trading, bullish MACD crossover. Let's see if some other stock which fits that criteria today. We're looking for bullish MACD crossover on the daily time frame. So something to keep in mind. So I just added that indicator. We're running it in the NASDAQ. So we got 4 hits. Let's go over one after the other. So we got INTU, familiar name. Palo Alto, familiar name. PDD, another familiar name. And GFS, not so familiar name. So we're going to go over all these 4 stocks. And those 4 stocks have bullish MACD crossovers. So PANW looked like shit, by the way. I just checked today morning, but it popped up on the scanners. We'll go over all the 4 stocks one after the other. So GFS, INTU, PANW, and PDD. So let's go over one after the other now. Let's see which one stands up. So let's start with PANW.
How did you get it? Because mine didn't come up. Nothing came up on the bullish crossover.
Okay, so does your code looks exactly like mine? Let me just share it. It should look exactly like mine, but do you have group as NASDAQ above? We're looking into NASDAQ.
Oh, okay. Hold on. No.
So if you want to get the, just delete it all together. Start from first. Start over. Delete everything. First, go to indices and ETFs and select NASDAQ 100.
Wait
and
a minute.
click on add.
Time. Okay. You said delete everything. Where'd you go?
Remove everything. Remove everything. Start over.
Where'd you go?
Do you see indices and ETF? Just select all. Click on, are you using MacBook or Windows? What are you using?
HP. Oh, I see it. Okay. It was another button. I got it. Okay. I thought you hit a button.
Yeah. So indices and ETFs, select NASDAQ 100. Click on add. Go to predefined scans, bullish MACD crossover. Click on add and then run the scan.
Oh, okay. 4. Okay.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over each and every single one of these names. So Palo Alto, the daily trend. What is that, James?
PANW.
I don't know what I did wrong, but I pulled up like 2,000 stocks compared to
2,000 stocks? What the hell? NASDAQ only has 100 stocks, man. Where you get 200 from? 2,000 from?
He pulled the whole stock market, bro.
Okay, I'll go back. Does your coding looks exactly like this?
No, I don't look like that at the top. Let me see. I'm gonna restart it.
Yeah, just delete everything and go to indices and ETFs, NASDAQ 100. From that, click on add and then go to predefined scans and then click on bullish MACD crossover and click on add. This is the only thing which you should see, by the way. First line should be group as NASDAQ and second line should be the code for MACD crossover. It's pretty interesting. I should go over what the fuck does this code mean. So 12, 26, 9, greater than 0, and MACD line is less than 1, okay. And it's comparing with yesterday's MACD close, and it's comparing with 2 days MACD close and the 3 days. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, now I didn't pull up anything. I don't know what I did.
Do you want to share your screen to see what you're seeing? Or send me a screenshot of this page. I just want to see this page right here.
Okay.
Send me a screenshot in the Discord. We'll run it through. So for the rest, do you guys see these 4 stocks after following the setups?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let's start over. Let's start with the same process. Go to the charts again. Go to your trading view. Fire it up. And let's go over one after another. Finally got it. Let's go, Kelvin. Beautiful. All right, so what do you guys look in Palo Alto? So right now, let's start with our typical analysis, which we do. We'll remove all the AV maps. We don't need it. We're going to start over from the scratch. All right. So what do we see
Why
right
you do
here?
that?
Yeah, no, you have to erase this entire thing. Whatever code you have, what you're doing right now is you're just looking at the stock which is above the 20 SMA and which has a volume more than 40,000 is what you're looking for with the scanner.
But I'm saying you're re-putting in your MAs and stuff every time. When you type in a new ticker, it doesn't keep your MAs and stuff on your chart.
On this one, no, I just
How you
disable
do?
it. No, I just disable
Oh.
it. I just disable it and enable it whenever I want it, sort of thing.
Oh,
And
oh,
James, yeah. So just a minute, Reese. James, I just saw your screenshot, and select all and delete them. Delete whatever you have on your screen. What you have on your screen is you're just looking for stocks which are above the 20 SMA and which has a volume over 40,000. That's what you're looking for. That's why you got 2,000 hits, by the way.
Okay.
So now delete the code which you have on the line. So scroll down. Do you see where you see scan components? Scroll down, go to indices and ETFs. First step, from the indices and ETFs, select NASDAQ 100 and click on add. So you should see something called as group is NASDAQ 100.
All right.
So what you're doing is particularly here is just running the scan through all the 100 stocks in NASDAQ 100. Now, the next thing what you need to do is above that indices and ETFs, do you see something called as predefined scans?
Yeah.
Click that and look for bullish MACD crossover. Select that and click on add. And once you add it, then run your scanners. You should see these 4 tickers which you're watching for. So let's start. You got it? You should see 4 tickers right there in Palo Alto, PDD, and other 2, whatever 2 we have. So now we're going over PA and W right now. So right here, you can see this green box, which was the demand zone, which is stretching from $257 all the way up towards $266, which was the previous highs on the weekly time frame. You can see it on the weekly time frame. That's where the price font sellers over and over. And you can also see that 265 area acting as the area of interest right now. So what are we going to do with it? So add the moving averages. They are right now about the 200-day moving average, which is currently at 271. If you're one of those bottom fishing sort of trader, this is not our type of setup in any way, shape, or form, by the way. They gap down big time after earnings, anchor the VWAP towards that gap up coming from Feb 21st, by the way. Why are we anchoring? Look at the volume. The average volume was 5 million. On this particular day, the volume was 43.9 million shares, by the way, which is almost 9 times the average volume traded in one single trading session, which tells you there is an institution participation. So now anchor that point, and that anchored VWAP is currently sitting at $286 and change, which is also coinciding with this area of interest right here, which is the lows which they made on December 5th. They rallied all the way to 317, pulled back towards that exact same area on Jan 5th before pushing all the way towards new all-time highs. So that zone in particular, which is at around that, $283, all the way towards that $291 becomes an area of interest. We're going to keep and watch out for it tomorrow. The worst case scenario is stock just consolidating, doing something like this again, as this AV-WAP crosses around and joins with this 283 zones. And once the stock price pushes up and do something like this, you can potentially take a counter rally trade right here at around 284s and take it all the way towards that declining 50-day moving average, which will do something like this down the line. And if they continue to bounce up higher and then push all the way towards that new all-time highs, that's where you expect them to go all the way up towards this potential gap fill sort of trade, all the way up towards the 366 and change, by the way. And we are kind of like living in a fantasy land right now. Like if this happens, if that happens, yeah. But right now, what needs to happen for you to enter down the road? We needed to get back over this $283 pivot. And we needed to get back over this anchored VWAP, which is coming from this earnings gap down candle. And once that happens, you can potentially take the trade towards this potential push towards that declining 50-day moving average, a counter trend trade sort of scenario. Not something which I would recommend for swing trading because you're still in a downtrend. If CPI comes in hotter than expected, they can just reverse this entire move, whatever they made. They fill the gap right here, and they can just give it all back, gap down under the 200-day moving average at 272, and then continue to sell off to make new lows all the way towards 257s. That is the risk which you're exposing to. But the bullish MACD crossover just took place on this name. So all it's telling you, the momentum for the last 12 days just taken over the momentum for the last 26 days. So
Hey,
that's all it's
Mario.
telling you. Go ahead.
Can you add real quick the MACD onto your chart just so we can see what the scanner was showing, the reason why it pulled up?
This is exactly
There we
what
go.
showed up. The blue line, that's the 12 SMA, by the way. That's the momentum for the last 12 trading days. The orange line is the momentum for the last 26 trading days. If I zoom in, you can clearly see the crossover happening right here. Do you see how the blue line crossed over this orange line?
The orange line, okay.
Yeah, so that tells you the momentum for the last 12 days is picking up steam compared to the momentum of the last 26 days. That's the crossover, which it's referring to right now. And you can see the histogram starting to push up higher as well. And that's why this showed up on the scanner. Because if you go to the, right now, switch to the code, by the way, I want you to look at two things right now. You added MACD to the watch list. You see the 12.26 in there. The blue line is the 12 SMA, which is the momentum for the last 12 trading days. The orange line is the 26 SMA. That's the momentum for the last 26 trading days. Now, go back to the code. Let me share my screen to the code, which we just entered to get this. Hold up. This is the screenshot that James shared with me. My bad. Where is it? Right here. Yep. So go back to the code. What do you see right here? 12, 26,
and 9. So what is the 9 for?
9 is the histogram.
Oh, the histogram, gotcha.
What is that, Reese?
How did you get back to that screen to get to the code?
Just go to the share screen and you can just switch to whatever windows you need to change from there.
Let me see. Do it again.
There you go. Wait, what you asking for? Are you asking how I'm changing screens?
No, I was asking how did you get back? Like my screen shows the 4 tickers, right? That came up.
Okay. I understand. So on the tabs on the right side, you should see scan results. And above that, you should see technical scan workbench. You can just change it from there. So if you're using Windows, you should see the tabs open above right here. You would see the tab above. I'm using an iMac. So if you're using Apple, you should see on the sides, depending on the browser. If you're using Safari, it should be different. It will be on a separate tab for you.
No, I'm saying to get back to the screen where the codes are when I'm switching back from the list it generates.
Yeah, so right here, this is what you're seeing right now, right? The four stocks. So go to the tabs. You should see a separate tab of technical scan workbench. So you can just go there, click on it, and you'll get switched to that code directly. Whatever code you're seeing.
I had to minimize the screen. Go back, do it again.
Right here, this was the screen which you have, and you should have a separate tab called technical scan workbench on a separate
Move your mouse. I don't see your mouse. That's what I'm saying.
Do you see my cursor right now?
No, hold on. Okay, I see.
Look to the left of his screen where he got the little N for the Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Click on it.
Yeah, your boy be watching.
Yeah, I'm just watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was playing in
Oh,
the
okay, I see
background
it
when I
right
was
above
watching.
the code.
Mhm.
Right above the code.
You got it?
Uh-huh.
There we go. Perfect. So I hope this makes sense. So right now we got 4. I don't want to go through every single stock right here, but I hope this gave an idea on how these works. By the way, it's not that complicated if you think about it, but I can understand looking at these codes can seem a bit daunting at first, but again, trust me, I might sound like condescending right now, but it may be easier for me because of my coding background, but you don't need to worry
Are
about
you
the
saying we're
code in
stupid,
any way,
bro?
shape, or form. No, 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 no. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say
I'm
is,
just messing with you.
yeah, I know. But what I'm trying to say is it might seem a bit complicated at first, but don't worry about all these codes that you see on the screen is what I'm trying to say. All you need to do is just plug in the data and the rest will take care, the coding will take care of it on its own. So you just need to make a certain changes to what you need to look out for. The group is, if you're looking for S&P 500, let's look at S&P 500 now and see what stocks fall under this category. Now, we got Expedia, we got a few new ticker symbols right there, but you can see PANW trading in both S&P 500 and NASDAQ, which is here on this list. INTU trading in both S&P 500 and NASDAQ, which is in this list. EXPD is not a part of NASDAQ, but it's a part of S&P 500. It's right there in this list. We got a few new stocks right here for you to go over. So go over every single one of these stocks. And the only thing which you need to focus on right here, your goal as a trader is to not just buy into every single stock which you see on this watch list, but your job right now is simplified. Your job is to shortlist these names and select 2 of the best setups on these types of watch lists which you have. So this is how you
Hey,
plan for the trading session, by the way. You go through
is
the
there one
scans.
for RSI?
Go ahead.
Is there one, you know how we go back to the previous screen where you put, yeah, is there one that you can click for RSI?
Yeah, oversold with improving RSI. You do have it.
Oh, no shit. There you go. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So you
Yeah,
can
for
do that
the
as well.
yeah, that'd be nice just to check it out to see what pops
You
out.
can run it through for any type of trade that you want to do, but we stick to breakaway gap ups or runaway gap ups because we like to swing trade uptrends and not swing trade reversal. I wanted to give you guys a taste on how the reversal trades work. That's what we did with Tesla. So it doesn't always work out like that, by the way. Tesla is purely a momentum trade based off of AVWAP, which is coming from that news event reaction. We have an AVWAP sitting right there with that high volume candle, which happened on Friday after hours, which gave us an area to set our risk against. And coincidentally, that AVWAP also stood right there near that 20-day moving average, which gave us multiple confluences at that 172 area. So that's why yesterday we said we need to close above 172. And today, when the market opened, we said we need to stay above 172. And that's exactly what they did, pull back towards 172 and gave a huge zipper towards that 177s by open. After what happened, we don't really care. They pulled back towards that 174s, which was the pre-market highs, and then pushed on close to the highs of the day. Great, all good. But the dominant trend is on Tesla is still to the downside, so we have to treat it with caution. What do? Size our positions lower than what we do with the uptrending stock. Sometimes uptrends can behave like an absolute piece of shit, which happened today with us on NTAP, which happened today for us on APO, which happened today for us on what are the stock which fucked us over today? I'm sorry if you guys have kids nearby from swearing. Let me know. I will stop swearing. And what are the stocks which stopped us out today? Let me go to small accounts. APO kicked us out. NTAP kicked us out. And yeah, those are the 2 names which we're watching. Tesla did pretty good today. Yes. So yeah, sometimes uptrends can be really annoying. So APO and NTAP is an example for that. And you're going to get stopped out most of the times, but it might as well get stopped out on stocks which are trading in an uptrend rather than trying to time a reversal, trying to call a bottom and then lose a lot of money on the same is my entire thing. So I hope that makes sense. So I hope this scanner thing helped. I mean, hope this may help you guys on how to find stocks on your own, by the way. But again, as a trader, your job is to shortlist the same names. Whenever people say like you have to put in the work the night before, you have to plan your trades or whatever it is, I hope this gets you one step closer to finding that answer on how to look for stocks to plan something for the next day's trading session. And I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have any other questions on the same, and just mess around with it, mess around with different, if you guys are candlestick sort of people, you have something to look into that as well. And Reese, I know that you look at all these candlesticks patterns, and there's bullish engulfing candles on the daily. If you want bullish harami, 3 white soldiers, bearish engulfing, dark cloud cover, evening stars, 3 black rows, doji, regardless of what you need, you have it right here. But again, if you see like 5 to 6 stocks in these types of lists, let's check out hammer, by the way. Let's go to the group. Let's go to NASDAQ 100. Let's add it, and let's add the hammer candlestick, and let's just run the setup. So we got 2 stocks which closed with a bullish hammer, and let's take a look at it. And CCEP. What the hell is CCEP?
Copart? You never heard of Copart? So like whenever you crash your car or like you get into an accident or and your insurance company takes your car to an auction, they bring it to like a yard and then people can go in there and bid on the car. And if they get it, they actually buy the car and they get it to fix it. That's what like a lot of like second hand shops do, like little mom and a small like dealerships. They go to these auctions, buy cars, fix them, and then flip them.
Interesting.
I mean, you can get some crazy shit in there, bro. I seen cars in there that you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with it? Like cars got flooded or something stupid. They brought them to the insurance. The insurance said, fuck it, you know what? Just write it off. And it could be like an easy fix, and then you have a fucking perfectly running car, man. It's crazy what you can find in there.
Interesting business model. But again, if the charts are agreeing, this is a good looking chart as well. Jesus Christ. We just logged a hammer near the 20-day moving average. Nice uptrend as well. But other than this breakdown candle, just mark the lows of this breakdown candle, mark the highs of this breakdown candle. They just try to close about the 50-day moving average, 20-day moving average with a hammer today. Let's add it to the watch list. Might set up for something down the road. The ticker symbol
Gonna be a small pullback?
No, this is a good looking chart. We're expecting for.
Oh, no. I'm saying like you're saying about the candle. I'm saying could it be like a pullback before it gathers more momentum to the upside?
Yeah, if they gap up tomorrow, this can push towards that 58s again. Is what we're watching for, sort of thing. But we need this to get back over this breakdown candle highs, which is around that 58 20-ish, 58 30-ish. If they can get back over it, we can expect this to run towards that all-time high sort of trade. I'm not happy with this huge breakdown candle, which we're seeing right here on April 4th. But again, the entire market candle looks like this. So if they continue to push up, we will be in for it. Good looking chart, and it's not that expensive. And same, you can see the hammer right there and why this popped up on the scanners. And if you go to Coca-Cola, what's the ticker symbol for the same? We just saw it. CCEP. No, CCEP. This is the European version. CCEP, Coca-Cola Euro Pacific Partners. They logged a hammer as well, but this is under the 50, under the 20. But I like that before the previous one, which we were watching.
The Copart one? Mario?
CPRT.
CPRT.
So that's the one which logged a hammer on the daily, and CCEP logged a hammer on the daily as well. So something to keep in mind.
Oh.
So I hope this shed light on how to run these scanners. And as I mentioned earlier, this is not that complicated as they made it to be. I understood like it's kind of like difficult to find your way around, but I hope now it makes sense on how to find stocks on your own, how to plan something on your own. And now when you come to the Discord chat, you can have these conversations like, okay, I found this stock and I ran the scan and I found the stock and I like this. This is my plan. And what do you guys think about it? Or I found the stock, I'm going to take the trade right here with stop losses right here, and this is my total amount of risk. The way you converse with people is going to change drastically because you're going to only talk about what you made your research on and where are you going to set your stop loss at, and where you're going to take profit at, and how much account are you going to risk, not about what should I buy and what should I sell. You will be making that decision on your own. And the way you converse with people, it's going to change drastically. And I hope this makes sense. And if you guys have any questions on the same, let me
I
know
have
right
one
now.
question.
Go ahead, Reese.
The other day we were talking and you had said when you placed the your trend line for the gaps,
Right.
you were saying when the close and the open. Can you explain that again?
Are you talking
When
about where
the
the
candle
gaps?
closed.
Okay. Are you talking about the gap? You're talking about the gaps in particular, like go to SPY. SPY had a gap today, if I'm not wrong. Or go to this candle, right? Go to the 15-minute charts on SPY, by the way.
Okay.
Go to the 15-minute charts on SPY. And
Okay.
do you see the gap up right here on April 4th?
Yeah.
This huge gap of which you see, and before that huge nasty sell-off happened. And draw the gap right there, by the way, from where the gap up to gap down, draw the gap, draw the box.
Okay.
Wherever you see the gap is.
That was my question.
Yep.
When you were talking about when you put your trend line, because I put a trend line where it gapped down to, and then I put a line like where it's technically closed. Where did you say those trend lines? You said from the
This is the gap.
close.
Okay, so let's talk about it. For now, the gap on this, where do you have your gap, by the way, on that? Let me.
I have the gap down where it came from. I have it right here at the close.
Yeah,
I
I need the
used to
exact
have it
price.
at the wick, but you said put it at the close.
No, don't worry about what I said. Tell me what you have right now.
Oh,
So
I
that I
have it
can.
at the wick. I
Where?
have it at the wick.
What
The
price
high of the
point?
wick,
So it's at around 519.76.
519.76.
And to the upside, where do you have it at?
I have the gap fill right here. I put it at 523.02.
523.02.
Probably can come down a little bit.
Okay, now you have a box drawn right over there, right?
No, I just put two trend lines. I put a trend line at where the gap where it's
Okay.
close.
It'll be better if you draw a box sort of thing like you see on my screen. So that signifies a gap sort. So it's gonna visualize the same better. So now you have the same, whatever it is. Now go to a shorter time frame part. Go to 1 minute charts with the same thing, whatever you have. Now you'll see exactly
So
why
the
I said.
particular place where it closed and open doesn't matter.
No, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Go to the 1 minute charts.
The 1 minute? Okay.
Yeah, go to the 1 minute charts with the same trend line, whatever you have on your screen. When you put it right on the trend line at where do you say you put it on the trend line on the top at 519.76, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the closing print on that candle on the 1 minute chart? Where did they close the day at?
On the 1 minute? Hold on, let me get this on.
No, not on the 1 minute. It's the same on all the time frames, but I want you to look at in the 1 minute so that you get a better idea.
But I'm saying when I went to 1 minute, we was on April 4th.
Yeah, April 4th, closing print is what
Yeah,
you're looking for.
I got
Where
the
did they
scroll
close?
all the way over. Okay. So you said the
Sorry, my bad. April 3rd close. April 3rd, 3:59 to 4 o'clock candle. What is the last closing print of that candle?
hold on, let me get there.
April 3rd closing price.
April 3rd close was oh my God. It closed at 519.30. The bottom one, the bottom candle,
Yep.
or the gap up?
The 1 minute, last 1 minute candle. What's the closing price of that candle? It's
Okay,
at
519.
519.41. So your gap should start right there at the closing price of the last candle of that particular day. And it should go all the way to the opening price of the next day's candle, next day's 1 minute candle. What's the opening price of the next day's 1 minute candle, by the way? The opening price of the next day candle, yeah, is $523.53. So the gap is from 523.20, 523.53, which was the opening price of April 4th, all the way towards the closing price of the yesterday's candle, which is at 519.41. That is the gap. And now go to the 15-minute charts. When did they fill this gap at? On April 4th. Let me see. April 4th is what we're looking for. Let me go back to this. They filled that gap at around 215, where they just completely melted down under.
Yeah, it started around. Oh, you got Eastern time on your. Mine's got 1:45 p.m.
Yep, 1 hour before whatever I have. So they just melted completely down under, and that's when they fill this gap around that 215 time zone. If you go to the shorter time frames, you can see the exact time where they fill the gap, which is currently at right here at try to fill it at 215, try to rally above, and completely got sucker punched exactly at that gap fill, and then completely sold off again. So hope that made sense. This is exactly how you draw your boxes, draw your gaps, by the way.
Hey, Mario.
What's good, Aaron?
What's up, man? Hey, how do you find out? Well, two questions. How do you find out if they're beta name? Is it up there in the next to the ticker symbol on like TradingView? It says
No,
NYCE.
it wouldn't say. It's not based on exchanges, by the way. A stock can trade in Nasdaq or S&P 500 and not be a high beta name. By high beta names, what I mean is growth stocks. Growth stocks in the sense like stocks like SQ, stocks like PayPal, stocks like Lucid. And can I say Tesla as a growth company? I don't think so. But Tesla is still a high beta name because it's a bit volatile. It's going to move with NASDAQ. If NASDAQ goes down 1%, these types of companies can go down like 3% or 4% or 5% on the same day. Roku is a high beta name. Stocks like Roku, what are those companies? DraftKings, high beta name. Palantir, high beta name. What else we got? Kava, IoT. All these companies are a bit volatile, and if the market goes down 1%, these can go down like 2-3%. So that's what we mean by high beta names, by the way. And most of the stocks like what else we have? We traded before. Let me look it up. NTAP is not an high beta name, but sometimes it can be annoying because it just didn't do anything, even if the market has been going up or down. And APO is in a high beta name. It's a healthcare space. And what else? BECN is not a high beta name. GRBK is not a high beta name. These types of names doesn't move much with the markets. RRR, 3Rs is in a high beta name. SNX is not a high beta name. These are the type of name which doesn't move well with the markets. It has the mind of its own sort of thing, and doesn't have a huge amount of volume, and only volume which you see on a day-to-day basis is mostly coming from the institution side, not a lot of retail participation. So these types of stocks, which are what we have to be personally involved in, especially if we are going to trade the corrective markets. And by high beta name, that's what I meant. If a stock can go down like 4% or 5% when the entire markets are just going down like 1%, those are commonly called as, referred as high beta names, high risk names, growth names in particular, growth stocks.
Mario.
Okay.
What's up?
Sound is considered a penny stock, right?
What is that?
Sound, SOUN.
Anything under $2 or $1.50.
No, I thought it was
$5.
the price. I was watching something. It was saying that the price doesn't matter. Because I used to think that too. Anything under $10 was a penny stock. With Sound is considered a penny stock because it's based off something else you had said. Is it the market cap or?
Yes, that is all it is. So
Yeah.
they typically go with market caps, but sometimes a market cap is calculated mostly from the outstanding shares and the current share price anyway. So if the share price is very low, you can't have a higher market cap. If the share price is very low and the outstanding shares are going to be less as well, so the market caps are going to be less as well at the end of the day. So They all coexist with one another. You can't say the market cap is high, market cap is low, but the stock price is way higher. It doesn't work out like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's calculated based off of outstanding shares, whatever the outstanding shares the company is willing to give out to the public, and based on the share price as well. That's how it's calculated. So based off of what is considered a penny stock is depends on individual, right? If it's trading for a penny, it's a penny stock. Simple. It's a simple definition. So if it's like going anywhere in cents, like 0.2 cents, like IDEX is still a penny stock, but you can see it. You can right now, if you pull up IDEX on your screen, you can see it used to be trading at $1, but it's technically not $1 though, because they just had a reverse split right here, one by 125. They just had a reverse split a few months back on August of 2023. Still a penny stock. And before they had a reverse split, do you know what price they used to be trading at? Right after reverse split, they went to like $4. This used to trade at 0.06 or something, less than a penny.
I
And
thought
then
they had so long before they could get delisted.
yeah,
Just
that's
get
why
over.
that's why they reverse split, by the way. They were in a risk of delisting. And right now they are at 0.94, but the actual price is way less than that, by the way. Now, whatever price you see, divide that price with 0.0, divide that price with 125. That's the original price of the stock. And I'm pretty sure they had they never had a reverse split before, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they never had a reverse split before. That's the first reverse split they had. Yep. So divide this 0.94 by 125. That is the original price of the stock. So technically a penny stock. A lot of these stocks which went to reverse split. SQQQ is a penny stock, by the way. Just saying. No, I'm not even kidding. Right now it's at $10, right? It's at $10 right now. But this stock has went through multiple reverse splits before. If you go to the daily charts on the same, you can see like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I guess it used to be $2,000 or something.
No. It shows at $2,000, but it doesn't. If you go to the weekly charts on the same, it's going to tell you the all-time highs on SQQQ is somewhere around like what?
Was it 12,000?
Nope, $483,000. But it never been there. But it was never been there, by the way. It's just the amount of reverse splits which it had. The all-time highs on this technically is 520,000. 520K is the all-time highs, but the stock had like multiple reverse splits. Technically, it has never traded at 52,000, by the way. If you go to fuel cell, FCEL, another example, the all-time highs on the stock is going to show you at somewhere around 7,200 or something, by the way. But they were never traded there. It's just a reverse split, which is showing you that, oh, my bad, the all-time highs is at $7,950. But that's not the actual all-time highs. It's just because of the reverse splits which they did.
The real all-time highs when they had the chart.
Nope, I don't think they did. They had a reverse split right here. You can see it right here, 1 by 12. They had a reverse split on May 19th. They had a reverse split on 2016 of December. And yeah, they had 2 reverse splits before. And that's why you see the stock price actually trading at, what is it? $7,000. So if you want the original price of the stock, divide the price. They had a 1 by 12. And yeah, divide the stock price by 24, 1.21 by 24. That's going to give you the original price. So technically, penny stock. So the current price of this, if you do a small math on the same, 1.21 divided by 24, the current price is 0.05. That's the original price of the stock, by the way. So when you say an all-time high is at 7,800, divide that by 24, the all-time high is just $325.
So when we go into code, not code, excuse me. go in to change the coding for the scanner.
Mhm.
this?
Sorry about that. Go ahead. Go to this coding of the scanner.
Yeah, when you put the coding in on the scanner, you were saying that you can change it and put what you want in there.
Correct.
But when that stuff that comes up like bullish diversion or whatever, I'm sure somebody's putting that in there, but you just have to go in there and verify that when you're looking at it. But you already said it comes off the daily, so that clears that up. But
Correct. So I wouldn't recommend you changing anything. Whatever the template you have, you can just go with it. But let's say like I just showed you, if you want to change it, I just showed you how to do it as well. So let's say like the bullish 200 day MA cross, that's what you want to see. So let's just say this is the screen which you have. So wherever you see 50, change it to whatever SMA you're using for. So Cashman just asked before how to do the same for like 1348. Just change the 50 to 13 and 200 to 48, and it's going to give you the exact outcome. But instead of looking for 50, 200 crossover, it's going to look for 1348 crossover, but on a daily time frame.
Okay.
So the coding language which they're using here, it's just a basic SQL. It's what we call as, what is that SQL sequence? What the fuck? I completely forgot what it stands for. Query language, I know. Sequential query language, structured query language, my bad. Yeah, it's been a while. So it's what we call a structured query language, SQL. That's what they use more or less in this to run through the database. So if you want to look into the basics of the same, what this AND stands for, all these Boolean languages stands for, AND or R or whatever it is. So something to, you can dive deeper into that as well. All these are just basic database.
Code thing, yeah, they put in there kind of like on Excel when you build in your Excel and you had to learn and
Yeah.
how to put in those codes and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. So every term, the group, the term is, and all this has a meaning behind, by the way. So if you're using and here, what it's telling you, it should be in NASDAQ, and it should also satisfy this condition. It should satisfy this condition as well. Only if all these three conditions are satisfied, return the results. And if you use, instead of and, if you use or here, it's gonna be a bit lenient when it comes to that. Okay, if it satisfies this condition, if it doesn't satisfy this condition, still give the outcome, sort of thing. So yeah, it's just, if you want to go deeper into it, it's just SQL. It's fun to learn. If you want to learn more, that's the languages they're using, a structured query language, SQL. Something to look into.
I was just curious who built those codes and stuff in there.
We don't want to dive into the rabbit hole. We don't want to dive into that rabbit hole at all. Like it's a basic database language, and what we call a structured query language. There is another database. I'm pretty sure you heard of the stock called MDB, MongoDB, right?
Yeah.
So that is another database language, by the way. What I said about SQL, MDB, MongoDB is another separate database.
ABGO cousin.
What is that?
ABGO cousin.
AVGO is Broadcom. It's completely different. MongoDB is completely different. MongoDB is a database language, which just like what you see on the screen right now, the code which you see, just like that, MongoDB is a separate language, by the way, separate database language. AVGO has nothing to do with it. AVGO is a Broadcom, completely different thing. But there is JavaScript. JavaScript is not a database language, but it's a separate programming language, scripting language. I don't call it programming. JavaScript is a scripting language. Python, another object-oriented language. There's a lot of programming languages out there, but it has nothing to do with the trading, whatever we do. But learning the basics of coding might come in handy, especially if you're in trading view. Let me show you something. I don't think you guys messed around with this. If you go to down right here, you should see something called as Pine Editor. Have you ever messed around with it? Have you ever wondered what it is?
Yes, you can actually, for people that you can go to ChatGPT and ask them to create somewhat of a strategy for you. it'll
Mhm.
give you the coding, and then you can input it into TradingView, and it'll back test it for you, and it'll give
Yep.
you kind of like a result, a percentage of winning, losing, and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So if you go to the strategy right here, there's a lot of strategies which you can test to see how it actually works, by the way. So let's say MACD strategy. If I click on MACD, and right here, you can clearly see if I go enable deep backtesting, it's going to backtest a bunch of trades for me for a particular time frame, particular time period, and it's going to give me a results. Let me show you guys. So all these are all, I don't want fuel cell. I want to run it on mRNA. Go to the mRNA and it just ran a bunch of deep backtesting. Will be show you generate report throughout the testing range 2024, 2021 listed trades. Let's go to a smaller time frame, 30 minutes. Run. There you go. So this is the backtesting using the MACD strategy, by the way. And this is the performance summary. So if you just use the MACD strategy and taken the trade from March 1st to right now, just by using shares, you would have made $4 in profit. I mean, you can change that amount of shares that you buy and all that. It's just going to buy one share for everything. And if you run the test same on NQ, it's going to give you an outcome for the same by just using the MACD strategy, and you would have returned a net profit of $770 throughout the time frame of like 1 month time period by using the strategy on a 30-minute time frame. If you use the same strategy on a 15-minute time frame and run the report on the same, you'll see a different result. You'll see like almost $1,475 in profit when you backtested the same. But look at the max drawdown. At one point of time, your portfolio went down like 19,705, but we're talking about like $1 million portfolio, by the way. So 19,705 is nothing but 1.95% of your entire account, which is not a lot.
I gotta let you go, guys. Mario, if you recorded the session, would you mind posting it on the Discord so we can go back and review it?
Yes, sir. I will do it. Once the processing is done, I'll just upload this and yesterday's future session both into the YouTube, so you can just go back and watch it from there.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Well, you guys have a good night, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. And yeah, so this is what we call a spine editor, by the way. And if you go to the Pine editor, you can actually see the code for whatever happened over there. This is the code for that strategy, whatever you saw on the screen. So learning the basics of coding, it's going to help you to run back testing. You can see how many trades are taken on this throughout the entirety. So it's going to tell you, okay, let's say you have a strategy. If you can put it in coding and run the same trade. Okay, if I follow the strategy, and you don't have to take 100 trades to come to conclusion. You can let the computer do the work for you. Let's say if I follow the same strategy and run it for like 100 trades or 1,000 trades, am I going to come out profitable? If had I did the same strategy for like 1,000 trades in the past, will it yield a good profitable results? So if you can convert your strategy into code and backtest the same and get the profitable results, it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of time, and you can check your performance right here, and it's going to help you out big time. So something to keep in mind.
You think that's a good way to like get the emotions out of the trading?
That is how hedge funds design their systems, by the way. So if you design a system, you need to have it backed up with performance. So there'll be rigorous back testing on the same strategy, whatever they're using. And that is why I say system with a positive expectancy. It doesn't mean that you have to win on one trade, but even if you take 100 or 1,000 trades down the road, you're still going to yield positive outcome along the line. Right here, as you see, look at how many trades. They took like 149 trades in the span of 1 month. And there go with the performance. It yielded 0.15% of the entire account. And this is based off of 15-minute time frames alone. Only based off of MACD strategy. So if you can code it, that's why learning the basics of coding can go a long way, but I wouldn't go out of my way to ask you guys to learn the basics of coding and all this other stuff, but knowing simple stuff of what is what can come in handy big time is my entire point. at least trying to understand what it's saying, sort of thing. So something to keep in mind. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'd be more than happy to answer the questions over there. Guys, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the night. And tomorrow we got CPI, and we'll see how the markets turns out to be. Have a great rest of the night. Take care.